I was going back to the later subject you had there, and that was about your pamphlet. There were some things on it that I kind of agree with. I mean, like the debt, and when you talk about things of that nature, we're talking about the future, and I don't know, when you talk about creating revenue, a number of times we've spoken and said as leaders that we're going to build a casino. We're in tents yet.
Yeah.
And for how many years, I don't know if that'll ever happen. Got to take the debt down before you can get to the bank again. And I heard that they don't want to go to the bank. I don't know for what reason and such, but they want to use their own money to build the garage first. I don't know if that's going to go or not. But these things are, I'm kind of looking about creating for the future, and that's what I want to get at with you. If you got some semblance of what I agree with as far as creating something for the future for our people, and when it came down to some of the things that we didn't have an elders building, we didn't have a community/youth center. I mean, when I got in council in 2006, and I brought it up right away about a youth program, and it didn't fly. And we did not drop it, though. We just kept on talking and talking and bringing it up. And 6 months later, when the budget, they told me wait for the budget time. And finally, it did kind of get approved in the budget eventually, but it took us another year before we got it going again, And then when it came down to building buildings, I think those were necessary things that we had to do, facilities and such. But when it came down to it, that took budget time again. And those are long, hard meetings and such. It took us weeks. And the thing is that we eventually did. I think we saved over $10 million for what we was going to do community/youth center. But then one of the other council members suggested that we do the elders first, and that was right. So we did the elders first, and then we took and saved $11 million for the community center/youth center, and then they decided not. I got voted out then. By that time, they had decided not to do it, but they did eventually build the building. But, I mean, not with that pot of money. They used it for something else. It's just that you got to take and stick to your guns and do not drop it and push and push and push for something that you want to get. Now, the thing is, I'd rather see us not build any more facilities. I'd rather see us just focus on getting that debt down. And what is our situation with gaming? I mean, I don't know
Right.
what it is and such. I don't know, but I mean, we got to take that tent's going to be. I mean, it was old to begin with. I mean, for how many years now? We fixed it once.
Right.
And you just got to get out of that tent. I mean, I don't know what their thoughts are. We never do hear anything.
And that's
Need membership
exactly what I was
meetings.
going to say.
Got that in there,
Yep.
and then debt and things, I don't want no new programs, no new employees. I mean, I'm not saying think small government, but no more growth of government. That's what I feel,
Yeah, it would be really nice if we had more information, so that we can start to have that conversation. How can we go about developing our economic development? We need to know where we're at before we can start really pushing forward, right? So, we definitely need to get more information, have more access to information.
Like backwards because of some of the other tribes such as Cowlitz and other tribes are getting casinos, so they have to have these other tribes. We rent machines from other tribes, so I mean they're cutting into our share of that there. So I heard we're going backwards. One council was there.
Yeah, so we get the information, and then once we have the information, then we can start to put together that strategic plan on how we're going to move forward. And that's again getting the input from our members, from the professionals that we employ, that know where we're at, know where we're at financially, what we need to move forward. I mean, we have an economic development arm in Marine View Ventures. We need to work with them and empower them to be able to do what they're supposed to be doing, generating revenue, and so those that's definitely part of it, What are your thoughts about that particular issue of economic development, and how can we move forward, and what can we do in that arena?
There's a document called the Revenue Allocation Plan, RAP, and you were supposed to follow the guideline. Peter Mills is the one that put it together and wrote it. Used to be the admin manager, And to have the ability to give out per capita, you had to have that document in place. And they you got certain percentage for 5 different issues in there, and that's according to the federal law, the Gaming Act. And we're supposed to follow that there. And I don't know if we are anymore, I mean, because most of it probably goes for per capita. You're supposed to have a certain percentage for economic development, because they, basically the Congress was saying, do not spend your money on yourself for the present. Also create for the future. And that's what the law was basically saying in 87 or 88, whatever year that was. And so I don't know if we're following it RAP or not. I mean, it's got percentages down for the 5 different categories it's supposed to be.
Yeah. That's a good question. But I suspect that, the tribe has their attorneys that keep them, in line when it comes to that. Trying to give them the benefit of the doubt there anyway, so hopefully they're following that. Because the danger, as you know, is that if you don't follow it, that's where we get ourselves in trouble, right? And so we have to follow that law, and otherwise we get sanctioned, and they come in and they, yeah. Well, I recall a few years ago that there was something that was along those lines, but yeah. Any other comments on that area? Economic development.
There's also another document the tribal government has with the state of Washington. And it's about gasoline taxes, and that is the tribe will pay the taxes, and I think they get so much back from the government. And it's rather significant. They're making good money. They're doing a good job. But, I mean, also we're supposed to use it for certain projects, such as law enforcement and roads. And I'm pretty sure we're using it for law enforcement. I'm pretty sure that there, but I don't know about the roads portion of it or not.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Again,
that was negotiated by Chad and council members, I guess.
yeah. It would be great to have access to that information. And that's one of those things, one of the things that I've been working on for a couple of years now is an open records ordinance, kind of like a Freedom of Information Act type of an ordinance. That's one of the things that we could do fairly easily, fairly simply, get that adopted, and that would open up the information for our membership and help us to be able to start that planning process. We need to have access to all of this information. And so, obviously, if I'm blessed with the opportunity to serve our membership on the Tribal Council, there's a lot of information I've got to go through and glean, and study so that we know where we're at,